Hi, I'm Tom Bohmker. I'm a lifetime gold miner, author, mining consultant, gold addiction person. And people sometimes ask me, how did you get into writing these field guides for gold prospectors? And the story, I guess, really starts in South Dakota in 1976. I had been married just a few years, and my wife and I decided we were going to take off the summer and do volunteer work in South Dakota. We were assigned an area in central South Dakota. It was hot, dry in the ranch country and the reservation country there. And after a month and a half or so, we decided, let's take a weekend off and go to the Black Hills. I'd been there before, and I'd been to the Homestake mine and knew that it had a gold mining history and sounded like a good weekend off. And we went there. We stopped with some people we were acquainted with, and I said, we have a weekend off. I want to do a little gold prospecting and panning. I'd like to do that. Where do you know to go? And someone said, well, I've heard there's gold up on Iron Creek. And so there was a campground there. We went up there and camped. And I walked down to a little creek. There were no prospecting. There were signs of old prospecting, but there were certainly no visual signs of any recent activity, no claim notices. And so I said, well, it looks like it's Forest Service land. It's open to panning. And I noticed that a high water event a couple weeks before, where it rained 4 or 5 inches overnight, had the creek had burst its banks and washed into some virgin gravels right next to the creek. And actually I could see bedrock. And I went, oh, well, they washed away all the tailings. Looks like the tailings was piled up for 5 or 6 feet deep here. And why? There's bedrock right there. I started digging, and I found gold right away. Not just little pieces of gold. Started finding flakes, and pretty soon I found some nice small nuggets. So when I went into town, the next time I showed it to somebody at a store there, and this woman said, I've lived here all my life. People have been panning in gold in the little creeks and getting a little bit of color. I've never seen anybody find such nice big pieces of gold. Are you really lucky? And I said, well, no, I just know how to prospect. Well, being in the right place at the right time. But as we went there another summer, and on that summer, I actually was encouraged by another store owner to write down some of these things, because he said the same thing. He said, you've learned so much about the Black Hills. Why don't you make a book? I'll sell it, And so that put me into writing books. This was the first publication. If you notice, this is basically the same cover that came when it came out in 1978. You notice that my wife was in her 20s. Oh, I have hair and good shape, but we did really well with just this loose box, and it was a lot of fun. The mining districts in South Dakota are just in a small area, 30 by 40 miles, almost like this part of Southern Oregon. Just a couple mining districts here fit into that. But it was easy to cover it all, and we had a lot of fun, and it started me writing books, and I enjoyed sharing information with other people, and the feedback I received over the years was excellent, and I guess it spurred me on to continue writing.